guys, Anthony here with Empire Music, empiremusic.com. Another fun one out of the Fender Sonic series. So not really new, the sticker's coming off here. I mean, it's new because it's out of the Sonic series, but you know, they left the tuner on. That's the cardinal rule of filming, take the tuner off. I hate when I get to a gig and I see a bass player or a guitar player with the tuner on the headstock. If that's you, you do whatever you want, but I think we should all perform without our tuners on our headstocks. I just broke my own rule. But it's the Sonic series Bronco bass. So this is a really, really cool little beginner bass. It's really punchy. I realized that as I was kind of tuning up and getting ready for the video. There's a whole lot of punch out of this. It has a few shortcomings to it from a tonal perspective. It's kind of limited with this single coil pickup in it. But it's cool. So Sonic Series Bronco bass. This one's in black with the like the Laurel fretboard on it, I think it is. And it's also in the white, and I think really cool Tahitian coral. Those both have the maple necks on them. So 30 scale, so short scale, so 30 inches from the saddles up to the nut here. C-shaped neck, 1.5 inch nut width. So it's really built for, you know, the beginner bass player. At the price point at the time of filming this, it's like 210 bucks. Honestly, for that money, I don't know if there's a better little short scale beginner bass that you're gonna see. Ceramic single coil pickup in there. So ceramic magnets to me have a tendency to always be a little bit bright. Nice to kind of roll some tone knob back on that. We'll kind of go through some of the tones with it. Poplar body, maple neck on it. It's really, really dead simple, not a whole lot to think about, and based off of who these basses are for, that's the perfect thing. But they're not just for beginners. If you're an experienced player, just want a little travel bass, that's cool. If you're looking to experiment into the short scale stuff and see how that feels, not a bad idea to kind of get into something like this because the price point's so comfortable at 210 bucks. Sonically, what we kind of get out of it, we'll just, because again, not a whole lot of specs to talk about, so we'll just jump right into some tones. So full volume and full tone, you get a little bit of buzz out of it. You're going to get that out of this single coil pickup. I'm sure it's not shielded that well internally. I will say this, and I'm always very honest when I talk about stuff that I get to play here. I'm going to kill that for a sec. As you know, and I said this before, but our reference point for obviously high-end basses and guitars is really good. So when we get something, you know, cheaper, entry-level, very modest price point, we're pretty hard on it here in the shop. So we give you, I think, like the pros and the cons of something like this. Right out of the box, the setup on this was spot on. That's not, you're not gonna always see that out of the Squier lineup. You know, I've definitely opened some up, and I've talked about them in videos before where I have to do a pretty substantial setup on there. Even have Aaron or Joe, one of our techs, do the setup for me if it's kind of beyond my skill level, which is very modest when it comes to doing setups. So, you know, always keep that in mind, keep the price point in mind. Your expectations with something like this need to be what $210 gets you. Not that that's no money, it's still $210, but it's not $2,100. So, you know, when you're trying to, again, you always have to walk into a Squier bass or any company's very, very low end with the right expectations to it. So let's go full volume, full tone, don't mind the buzz. So real quick, that's a pretty brittle and brash kind of top end, not the most pleasing of tones. Maybe that might fit perfect for you. So if we roll some tone back, let's go about 50%. Now we've kind of dialed right into where I would expect a bass to be. And generally I don't play with full tone on any bass. I've seen the videos before, I've said it, I'm running the 90% mark on tone control. We just went a little bit past that with this for these ceramic single coils in there. It's not bad. It's not a bad little bass actually. So we go down to palm muting. Sounds just fine. With a pick. I noticed something here, which is kind of cool, is when we move up into this, like, you know, 10th, 12th fret thing, it gets really fat and tubby, which I dig. It sounds great in that register, almost more so than down. That's massive sounding at that point. It's kind of cool. And then we'll go back to full tone just to give you a comparison there. Yeah, super bright, almost, it's kind of harsh on the top end there, but that's fine, it's fine. Just roll some tone off and we're back. Sounds good. It sounds good for what it is, for sure. Again, there's some shortcomings to it. As far as the pickup is concerned, I feel like, again, top end's a little bit brash on it. But outside of that, it's rock solid. And to keep in mind, too, when we play these short scale basses, especially the top load stuff here, you really do have a slinkier feel versus if you played something in a 34 scale. So you definitely notice that on this bass. It's a Squier. It comes in well under $300. In fact, again, at the time of filming this video, I believe it's $209.99. You really can't beat it if you got a kid that wants to just start into playing bass, or if you're a guitar player that just wants a cheap bass to kind of have around or just sit around with. And if you're looking for something just that you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to and travel with as a bass player, not a bad little option for you. Again, super low price point, but super playable too. And surprising amount of cool tones out of it. Full tone might be a bit much on the top end for some people. It is for me. So rolling a little bit of that back. And I think the sweet spot, I'll kind of showcase it again, is up here around the 12th fret. I think I'm going to start doing sections of my videos where it's my favorite tone that I find in an instrument as I kind of find it. Might not be a bad idea. But that's definitely it on something like this. So as the seasoned bass player, I kind of dig what's going on up here. But all around, not a bad little bass for 210 bucks. This is the Squier Sonic Series Bronco bass. This is kind of a slight revamp for 2023. Check it out. Oh, call the shop if you need something. 412-343-5299. You can also email me directly. It's anthony@empiremusic.com. Got to put the contact info in there. Again, Squier Sonic Series Bronco bass. Cool for the cash. See you next time.